It's that time again, ladies and gents, to check out some more badass gaming setups to help inspire some of you watching. Welcome to Setup Wars episode 327. Sit back and relax, and let's get cracking. That sounded way better in my head. Let the Setup Wars begin. This is quite possibly the coolest projector I have ever seen. Meet the Caesar Starry Hub, an all-in-one 4K projector. You can do pretty much anything with it. You can cast content straight from your device, you can game with your console, and host meetings all on this one device. There's an option to connect any of your meeting apps directly on the Caesar Starry Hub, and you can host 1080p video meetings remotely. It features a built-in HD webcam in the back with 6 microphones and a special designed speaker. But unlike other traditional projectors, this one doesn't have to be used in a dark room, which means you can use it during the day. You can project up to 120 inches, which is nuts when you're gaming on this thing. You just hook up your console via HDMI port and you're good to go. You can control it with the included wireless remote, which acts as a keyboard and a touchpad, or connected wirelessly through your Android or iOS device. The Caesar Starry Hub eliminates all the extra devices and cables and consolidates everything into a single projector to run your business or enjoy your day off. To learn more, click the link below. Kicking off the episode is Jack, who's been on the show before, but decided to rejoin with a slightly upgraded battle station. The setup took 2 years to complete for the purpose of gaming, video editing, and some 3D work. We got a 25-inch monitor stacked on top of a 34-inch ultra-wide, which seems to be the primary, but I'm guessing he pulls down the top monitor when he wants to game on it, considering it's a 240Hz display, and the monitor is hooked up on an articulating arm. Now, if that's not the case, then that mount purchase was unnecessary, as a flat mount would have sufficed. Also, a flat mount would have been more discreet, as you wouldn't be able to see it at an angle. I would have also loved to see the top display flipped upside down to get rid of the thick bezel, but I am happy to see the translucent TV app installed on your PC. The taskbar becomes completely transparent, showing off more of the wallpaper. For peripherals, Jack is rocking a custom NK65 board paired with a Logitech G305 Lightspeed and a nice coiled cable to complete the set. For audio, we do have several sources, starting with the pair of Scion speakers on the desk for entertainment purposes and the Marshall Monitor 2 headphones paired with the Fifine mic for gaming. For cable management, I do see a few loose wires underneath the desk, but for the majority of the wires, it's contained nicely with a few raceways. Powering the setup is a custom O11 build featuring the Ryzen 7 3700X and a Strix RX 6600 XT. If I'm being honest, the system looks a little unbalanced. I think you spent more money on the aesthetics than you did with the performance. You got a $200 case, a pretty pricey 240 AIO, power supply extensions, and a 7-inch display. You could have gotten a similar case for $100 less, another similar looking and performing AIO for a lot less, and skip out on the extra accessories. You could have saved a total of $267 and put that towards an RX 6800 XT instead, which would have been a significant boost to your FPS in game. Aesthetics can always be added later down the line. You should always budget towards performance first. Aside from that, there are a few other things you can do to improve the look of your setup, like hanging more green vines off the shelves to cover the empty spots on the walls. You do have a plant wallpaper after all, so it would be nice to commit a bit more with that theme. Raising the speakers to your ear level would also help improve the overall sound experience while contributing to the nature theme with these dope wood speaker stands. But if you're on a tight budget, these isolation pads will get the job done at half the price. You know, there's also a lot of opportunity to use up the extra space on the walls. Like, for example, you can add some nice pegboards for additional storage and to help display some of your gear. You can also take the RGB route and add some Govee glide bars, or simply add posters or pictures to further personalize your setup. Whatever you end up doing, you have a solid foundation to build off of. Thank you for sharing this with us. Coming up next is Jay, who's a superbike workshop owner from Malaysia, and his cozy gaming setup. We got a 32-inch 165Hz monitor as the primary, stacked on top of a 24-inch 144Hz display. This is what I mean by flipping the top monitor upside down to minimize the bezels between. It just looks so much cleaner this way, especially if you're stretching a single wallpaper. On the desk, we got the Razer Huntsman Elite V2 paired with a Logitech G502 mouse with a nice wood wrist rest that complements the rest of the setup. I mean, he's pretty much dedicated with the wood accents here. He custom built stands for his speakers, which also have wood accents. I love that there is both function and form on his commitment to the theme of the setup. I would say he did a pretty tasteful job in decorating the setup with minor things too, like the fake plants and one of those super cool tube clocks that I've seen every now and then. There isn't a single source of RGB lights, just the warm tones from the desk lamps and the monitor light above for night use. No complaints when it comes to cable management. Looks like everything is under control for the most part. Lots of zip ties were used to hold the power bricks against the support beam and multiple raceways to help route the cables into the back of the PC. Once again, no RGB inside, just warm lighting from all the products. Although I do have to point out the unusual CPU and GPU combo. My guy is pairing an i5-12400F with an RTX 3080. There is some bottlenecking going on here if you're playing in 1080p for sure, but I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and assume you're putting that GPU to work and you're gaming in 1440p. I think the next upgrade should definitely be the CPU though. You need something that can keep up with the RTX 3080. But I'm loving the vibes here, I'm loving the setup, well done on the execution, and thanks for coming on the show. Coming in at number 3 is our youngest contestant of the episode, Gente, who is only 14 years old, built this setup in the span of 1 year for gaming and making YouTube videos. That's pretty impressive. That is one massive desk, and apparently it's custom made from oak floorboards. He's got triple 24-inch monitors all mounted beautifully against the wall, which was also custom painted. Below that, we got the Razer Black Widow keyboard paired with a Razer Mamba wireless mouse. And probably one of the most filthiest mouse pads I have ever seen, okay? I'm just kidding, it's not the worst I've seen, but you could have at least wiped it down before you took pics. It doesn't look like Gente uses any headphones with the setup, and instead relies on the audio from the Trust Zivia speakers, coupled with the Rode NT USB microphone for input. I'm curious what that ring light is for if you don't stream on the setup. You don't even have a webcam. Don't tell me you're using that ring light as a desk lamp, because you're doing it all wrong, my guy. Just pick up a cheap monitor light bar instead. It's more sleek, provides temperature control, and it doesn't take up any space on your desk. I recommend going with this one from Contis, not because of the sussy name, but because it's one of the better ones out there for less than $40. Looks like all the monitor cables are ran across the wall and into the back of the inverted PC in the corner. It's packing a 4770K and NVIDIA GTX 1070. I guess when you look past the triple monitors, this is technically a budget setup. He's using a 7-year-old system with a repurposed desk and budget peripherals. Definitely a missed opportunity to feature this in a budget edition of Setup Wars, but I'm happy you came on the show nonetheless. Now here's another triple monitor setup, but on the opposite side of the spectrum. A pretty decked out high-end battle station featuring a 24-inch 1440p display in the middle that's sandwiched by 2 other 20-inch monitors. But what in the boiling diarrhea is that mouse pad, my guy? This legit looks like the rugs that we hang on our wall back in the Middle East. Like, I'm pretty confident my wife's mom has one of these hanging on her living room wall right now. Look, I'm all for that distinctive look, and certainly this gives your setup a unique aspect, but it doesn't look comfortable, nor does it look like it belongs there. Nothing else in your setup screams Middle East except your name. From one Middle Eastern to another, if you're watching this video, please reach out to me on my Discord server because I want to send you a free TechSource mousepad. You can pick from anything on the website, even one of our new Season 9 designs. You can use it with your setup or just give it away to a friend or family member. The choice is yours. The keyboard of choice is a slightly modded Keychron K2 using Gateron Browns, and that is paired with the super clean G Pro X Superlights. I do love the speaker placement though. Mounting them on the wall was big brain moves. They are now at the perfect height with your ears, and it frees up so much space from the desk so that you can decorate it with some plants and Julius Caesar. This is also the second setup that has the PC on the left side, although this time it's not inverted. We got another budget build, but inside of an 11. It's always interesting to me how people would spend more money on the aesthetics than the actual performance. In this case, Majid blew most of the budget on the case, the fans, the cable extensions, the fancy monitor in the back, and 32 gigs of RAM over the CPU and GPU. Like, if your PC case costs more than your CPU, you should probably reevaluate some things. Still, this is a pretty sweet setup nonetheless. Thank you for sharing this with us. That intro made my insides feel good, and I'm sure a lot of yours as well. It's all about the vibes with Nick's nature-inspired setup. In fact, he was featured back in episode 248 over a year ago, but more recently I stumbled across his setup on Reddit Wars, so it's perfect timing that we get to finally see the full submission. There has been a major transformation over the past year, and while the monitors have remained the same, everything else has gotten a massive upgrade. The biggest change of them all is the dynamic pegboard in the back. You see, Nick is a plant connoisseur, if you will. He has over 150 real plants. He's like the modern day poison ivy, but with a ball sack. Or better yet, if Groot were to build a setup, this is probably what it would look like. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is that he built a pegboard for the sole purpose of displaying all of his plants, and honestly, it's genius. He's able to move the shelves wherever he wants because the whole thing is modular. It also adds a nice backdrop to the actual setup. It almost doesn't even look like a setup. It's more of an extension of the home with a rustic interior design. We still got both ultrawides, but he did upgrade his peripherals to a SCOG reboot and a Logitech G900 mouse. The audio gear also took a step up with a pair of shiny new Kanto speakers, a HyperX Solocast mic, and the Sennheiser HD6XXs hanging from underneath. As expected, the cable management is as majestic as the setup itself. Excellent attention to detail, and +1 on the small stand you made for the PC and the power strip. We got the same CPU as last time, but it looks like the GPU was upgraded from a 1070 Ti to an RTX 3070 Ti Founders Edition. Very nice. I also love that you game with your wife. Apparently she has her very own setup, and the fact that the whole thing is on casters, allowing you to move it around your apartment, makes it that much more wholesome. You can wheel the setup close to yours while you're gaming and then tuck it away when you're done to free up space. Excellent work with the setup, Nick, and thank you for coming back on the show. As always, guys, let me know in the comment section which of these setups was your absolute favorite from today's video. And if you guys are enjoying the new setup wars schedule and the quality of setups featured, let me know by tossing a like before you head out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.